Legion, hi. Let me start this off by saying welcome to my very first movie review video ever. And the movie we're going to be reviewing today is Black Adam. Let me start by saying that this movie was just great. Great. I loved every bit of it. Now, let me just start by saying this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to tell you like the plot, I'm going to tell you what I liked about it, if I have any dislikes, and I'm going to give it my overall grading. I'm also going to tell you like stuff about like what I like about the characters. All right, so let's start off with this. This plot starts off in Conduct. I can't remember the exact year, but I just know it was in sometime in the BC era. Conduct is overseen by a tyrant, and again, I can't remember the names because I just saw the movie, and some of the names are still clicking me. But Conduct has a tyrant, and you see he's making his people, which this tyrant was a king, and he enslaved his people to dig up this element. This element, which can't remember the name, but this element was enable him to recreate a crown that would enable him to exact the powers of the six demons that are captured within hell. I believe it's such. I believe that's what they said. So forth, one of the slaves finds a shard of the element and brings it to one of the guards. The guards then kill this man and tell the little boy that saw them to if he wants to join him. The little boy's father brings him aside and tells him like don't interfere. Freedom is for the birds. This is what our people are now. I believe that's the line that he said. So forth. The little boy being the rebellious little champ that he is, he does this little thing. I would say disassemble for conduct, and you see he does that, and the people see that, and in a way they start siding with him. The little boy is taken by the tyrant's guards to be executed, and and a flash of nowhere, the little boy just disappears. And as the narrator says, that the little boy met the council of wizards were six people. Uh, Also, Shimon Hotsu, who played the wizard in Shazam, he reprises his role in this movie. So the legend, the way the narrator says that the champion and the tyrant, as the champion was chosen, the champion met the tyrant, and in a fit of a small battle, the champion defeated the tyrant, but the champion was lost. And so forth. Fast forward to present day, you have three characters. Three you have three guys and one girl. One girl is a fugitive of conduct. Well, should I say a fugitive of the people who are overseeing conduct? Basically, the the military tyrants that are overseeing conduct. And you see, you figure out that she's looking for the crown as well for to keep it out of the wrong hands. Also, turns out there was this kid who was distracting the guards and all that. Basically talking shit to the guards and all that. You find out that this kid is just her son, and she's trying to keep her son safe and all that. And one of the guy that's driving the van in the movie is her brother. So they go to the mountain, they find this tomb, and as they go in, shit goes south already. One of the guys, he gets thrown out of the mountain, and the mountain gets surrounded by guards, and they start swarming in. And you see, one of the guys, you find out that I already figured this dude was up to some shady stuff because he disappeared, and when he disappeared, the okay, so guy A disappeared and guy B went to look for him. And then guy B went looking for guy A. And then guy B, we see him getting thrown down the mountain. We don't see what happens. We just see him like when he hits the pavement and all that, or hits the ground. And then that's when like the military like surrounds the mountain and all that and goes in. And again, like I said, guy A guy A, I already knew he was on some shady stuff because like the way they were like acting towards and all that, they made it look like as if they were arresting him and all that to make it look good for show and all that. While they had the uncle at gunpoint telling her that if she doesn't surrender the crown, because I also forgot to mention that. Sorry. She finds the crown and she grabs it and secures it and all that. But they have the brother, the uncle, at gunpoint tell her to surround the crown. She gives herself up, and as soon then when she realizes that she's over like the champion's tomb, she says the word Shazam. And so with her saying that, she awakens him, and Shaz- 10th Adam appears right in front of them. That takes out the whole entire military that were there and all that. And you see, I wish I could say this dude went crazy, but crazy is not even the word, because it didn't even look like he was putting effort in the way he was just incinerating everyone. And I just love the way they distributed that, from him shooting lightning to him using his speed, his flight, his strength. Dude just looked godly. It was perfect. And you see, as 10th Adam saves the woman and the uncle, you see he realizes that one of the tanks, well, one someone shot like a missile at him and had, I would say it had like mineral parts, like it was made from the mineral types of stuff that the crown was made of, which was able to hurt him and all that. And so I realized that like when he was wounded. And so with that, the mother and the uncle taking them back to their place. It was at this time where Amanda Waller contacted Carter, also known as Hawkman, and he told them that he had a team ready to take Adam out or take him prisoner, because with them being the Justice League of America, they don't kill their enemies. And then that's how the team assembles. You have Hawkman, you have Dr. Fate, you also have this one woman I wasn't familiar with. Her powers were basically kind of like airbending in a way. And then you had Atom Smasher. And the one thing I liked about this movie is that it's obvious that, Carter and Kent, Dr. Fate, Hawkman and Dr. Fate, you have the old school superheroes mixed in with the new school superheroes. So you see how like they work together. And honestly, they work together pretty good. It seemed like it was the kid's very first mission on it, and they did really well and all that. Now back to 10th Adam, he wakes up and he realizes that he's looking at Kondak, and he's realizing like this isn't my home. And that's when he realizes that it's been 5,000 years ever since he was back on Earth. Well, ever since he was awake, and realizes that they built a whole statue for this man. And he looks at the statue and says in his own language, "Forgive me," which is sad because you're thinking to himself that maybe he failed himself or stuff like that. And then that's when the JSA pull up. And when I say that they did this beautifully, they did Dr. Fate justice. They did Dr. Fate justice. They did Carter justice. Again, I didn't know about the woman. This is my first time ever even hearing about her character, but she played her part well, and also Adam Smasher did her part well. He was goofy, but then again, so like that's his character. I mean, granted, I don't really know that much about Adam Smasher from except from what I've seen from Justice League Unlimited and the Flash TV show. But since this was like the young version of him, because apparently this was his very first mission, and he was the nephew of the original Adam Smasher. I mean, it kind of made sense, how goofy he was. But things so he was that goofy, where like he was funny, but it didn't get to the point where he was just annoying. But I gotta say though, for them going against a literal god, they held their own. It still wasn't enough, but they held their own though. But again, I cannot talk about how much they did Fate justice in this movie. Like from the way his helmet looked to his costume to the way he did his spells, it was just awesome. Also about the fact that during this time, like there were times where he took out his helmet and you can see he was having visions of the future. And sometimes you didn't really see it, but like as the movie went on, you saw more and more, and you can tell. And it seemed like Hawkman was gonna die just by the visions of it, but he really didn't keep that. He really didn't keep him in the loop about it. And obviously by the relationship you see between Carter and Ken, you can tell like they've been working with each other for like a good while. Like I would say maybe decades or centuries if you know the characters. Like these characters, like they go on, they lived for centuries and all that. So it's safe to say that they've been on this team for a good while, so they know each other's like ticks and all that. So as like the fight comes down, the mother like tries to calm the side between both 10th Adam and the JSA, which I actually like this because you kind of saw both sides of the conflict. On one side, you have 10th Adam, who's supposed to be the leader, protector of conduct, and as the people see him, they see that the champion has returned and they're worshiping him. He has their encouragement, he has their what's the word approval, because the fact is that like he saw that these guards, like once they recognized the mother, like being the fugitive, he eliminated the military and they figured out like their liberator has returned on it. And literally like the mother said like within 27 years he liberated us within 10 minutes. And the JSA come here and they take him down because they see him as a threat, but yet they haven't done anything for him. So she's basically like, he literally did this stuff, but yet you guys have existed for who knows how long, and y'all did nothing. So who's the real bad guy here? And which I can understand that because at the same time, like they read about 10th Adam and all that, and saying like what he did between the tyrant and all that. And it turns out like, and the thing is, oh, I see why they did this now. When the narrator was telling us about the champion and the tyrant, they didn't really show you the tyrant's. I mean, they didn't really show you the champion's face, and they didn't really show you what exactly went on. But Carter told the mother about how. Hold on. Carter told the mother about how 10th Adam isn't exactly who he says he was, and then that's when 10th Adam explained to the mother like what happened with the tyrant. You see, when 10th Adam became the champion, he literally walked into that palace, killed everybody because they said like his rage took over him and he couldn't really control it. He lost control. So at that moment, you can see in his face that in a way he kind of like yeah, I did that, and granted, that's something I live with and all that. During this time, Guy A, the traitor, catches up with the uncle and the son, wounds the uncle, kidnaps the son, and this leads to a whole speed chase of 10th Adam like trying to like help the kid, and also Carter trying to keep 10th Adam from killing anybody because to him, heroes don't kill anybody, while 10th Adam fears that that's the only way you deal with enemies. Which again, you can see the one that I like about it is that like, you can't really hate anybody for their views because 10th Adam lived and died as a slave, while Carter, like he's been saving people, but again, he's never had to experience slavery. So you can kind of see like why exactly like you can see both sides of the spectrum. During that time, um, the traitor gets away with the son and hoping that 10th Adam finds him again, which in this situation, you kind of see Hawkeye and 10th Adam go at it with each other because again, they're they're conflicts of view because he didn't like the way 10th Adam interrogated two guys. Like he literally got what he needed and he dropped them. But again, he thinks that Adam is too arrogant and too violent and basically is a loose cannon. So why the hell do we need to work with this guy when we can just do this ourselves? We're gonna make sure no one gets hurt. That's what Carter's saying to Fate. It's also during this time where like they get into a little scuffle, and I love the way they did this fight scene because it showed you like the unique fighting styles of this, but it also just showed you how deadly 10th Adam really was. Because honestly, you never really saw him push himself to his limits in this fight when he's fighting against Hawkman or anyone. It just seems like he's just like learning about his powers, adapting to his environment and all that. Basically that type of stuff. So in a way you can say the wisdom part of his powers were kicking in and all that. But again, it's like I said, it's like he was basically like, just practicing with them and all that. It was also during this time where like you find out that the crown was hidden in the son's room, and at this point the mother says, at this point we are all on the same side. And so that's when they realize that, hey, we have to work together in order to get my son back and actually get conduct safe and sound. That is it. Bottom line, we're working together. Let's go get this motherfucker. It was also during this time where like the it was kind of like a standoff. The traitor says, "You give me the crown, I'll give you your son back," which he does. Which he does. And obviously, like the dude he was, once he got the crown, he tries to shoot the kid. Hawkman secures the mother. Uh, Tenth Adam saves the kid and also kills the traitor with his lightning attack, basically using his lightning like a nuke bomb. So with that being said, Tenth Adam goes back to conduct. Um, Dr. Fate takes the mother and the son to a hospital because the son's in injured condition. Not fatal, but like he does need medical attention on that, so he's gonna be okay. And it was also during this time that like they found the crown, but it was attached to the trader who was a shish kebab. But I was like, that went that did not go as expected because I didn't expect him to be dead. But with that, Hawkman talked to was talking to Tenth Adam about what the traitor said about how I forgot, it was his son's name, about like how about how his son about how his son died. And this was what was from the trailer. This is what confused me because this was different. Because he's in the trailer, he said that his son sacrificed himself to save him and all that. Which that's when we actually get. This is when the whole story becomes full circle. You see, when his son disappeared, he became the champion. He was the one that the wizards gave the power to. But because of that, the tyrant killed. Not only did the kid's mom, but the tyrant also killed. Also, tried to kill Tenth Adam, and the champion, uh, Tenth Adam's son, came back, in his powered up form and all that, and realizes that he could save his father if he gave him the power and all that, which he does. Has his dad say Shazam. His dad comes powered up, and the and then his son reverts to his child form. It was also during that time where the tyrant had sent assassins and killed the kid. And obviously, it didn't kill 10th Adam because he was powered up and on it. And this is when you realize that no wonder he walked into that palace all pissed off because you killed his son. So the son was the one that was the original champion, but he passed it on to you to save your life. The tyrant the killed his son, and then 10th Adam killed the tyrant in a fit of rage. And it was during this time when you realized that 10th Adam that that Tandana went back to the Council of Wizards, all six of them, and they realized they made a mistake with him. So he killed five of them, and then the last one sealed him away into that tomb, the one that the mother and the uncle and the two other guys found him in, and realizing that that wasn't a tomb, that was a prison that she released him from. He wasn't. He wasn't like sealed away for the protection. He was sealed away because they realized that they made a mistake and he wasn't the one that they chose. So with that being full circle, 10th Adam uh says the word Shazam and goes back to his normal form, relinquishes himself to the JSA and take him back to Amanda Walsh prison where like they put him in suspended animation and all that, and realize that he can be there, stay there forever, and with him submerged underwater, he can't say the word. And he does this all willingly. And I'm thinking in my head, like, Okay, I can understand this. This is getting interesting, but Kent is still having his visions of like of Hawkman dying, and apparently he realizes that, and Carter is like, but we took Adam out of the equation. Why is that? And again, this is when Kent tells Carter that you're the one that dies, but Carter's not really phased because he does not fear death. But the thing is, Kent doesn't want Carter to die because he needs someone to lead this team because he's the hero that everyone needs. Carter's like, Carter's the contingency plan. Carter's the one that's supposed to lead and all. So as the mother and the other woman, like the airbender, as the mother and the airbender are studying the crown, they realize that the traitor, he wanted to be killed because that way he can go to the underworld and speak to the six demons. And in a way, you can kind of say that this was an inverse of the way 10th Adam got his powers because they said that the Council of Wizards had their champion, so the traitor can become theirs. All he had to do is speak their name, which he did, and he came out of something looking. He looked like a mixture of Hellboy and a freaking demon from Diablo. And so he comes to their world, wrecking havoc and all that. And you see, obviously, too much for the JSA. And this is when one of Connor's visions comes to fruition. You see, for a moment, he saw a third option in a way. So he closes off the castle in which the traitor, had enclosed stuff in, to take thrones, to take Honda back, because apparently, like, the traitor is a descendant of the very first tyrant in 10th Adam's time 5,000 years ago. So he's saying, so he believes conduct is his birthright to begin with, and the champion just disrupted everything. So basically, this is revenge and all. This is revenge. So Connor as he's fighting this demon, he's also telepathically talking to 10th Adam, you know, uses his magic to release him to break him out. Mind you, 10th Adam is fighting to at least six guards with no powers and all that. And so he's telling him, giving him that, that coach talk, that prep talk, like, yes, the you weren't chosen by the wizards, but that does not mean you cannot be a hero. You don't have to be a white knight. The world could use something darker, something more. And so he goes into the afterlife in a way and sees his wife and his son, and they realize that you still have more work to do. That's what they tell him. And it was during this time where like the legions of hell start rising throughout Conduct and start attacking the city people. And the son rallies the people because that's what he can do. He can get people like to band together and all that. And you see the people band together fighting zombies in the street. Oh my god, it looks like it was so epic. And during this time, they're chanting to the champion, and he says the word Shazam, powering up, bringing back the contact, and dude looks so dope in his new suit because I mean, in the first half of the movie, he had a totally different suit, but then when he said Shazam, you could see the suit like redesigning and all that, like more comic book accurate. It was just perfect. But sadly, before 10th Adam came back, the traitor killed Connor, and it was during this time 10th Adam was fighting him. The JSA team up against him, all that, and obviously they couldn't beat him without 10th Adam being there. 10th Adam using his magic, and Carter being there telling him he can control it, which he did. He used his magic to kill him, and took the liberating conduct of all the Hell Legion armies. Basically his army was above skeletons. All that was a bunch of hellish skeletons and all that. They all disintegrate. Conduct is free, and JSA leave on good terms. Basically, saying that he is their protector, and Basically, like he's gonna be like that ally, that's if they need him, give him a call. Like basically, you're not really friends, but you're more like acquaintances at this point. And so this is when the movie ends, and he realizes that he doesn't have to be a king of Conduct. Conduct has his people to lead it. What it just needs is a protector, and that's what he'll be. Now, skip forward to the post-credit scene. Amanda Waller sends one of her drones and does a hologram thing, telling her that apparently, like she he has her attention, and the fact is that he broke out of prison, so Conduct can have you. But if you leave Conduct and cause trouble anywhere else, basically, you will die before you set foot anywhere else. And she's saying that she has allies from different worlds, and he's basically calling her bluff, saying, "Bring it, bring him on." And so with that, that's when the goat comes back, and I mean the goat. She sent Superman. Henry Cavill comes back, man. It was just a great moment seeing him back in the suit. 2 years, man. About I would say about two, maybe 2 to 4 years, and you finally back, man. What a way to come back. So overall, I would say I would give this movie a 9.5. Not saying I didn't like it, which is why I'm not saying that there was something bad about it that I didn't like. It's just saying like this movie was just on the tipping spear of perfect. I mean, yeah, they changed a few things from the comics, but like, hey, with comic books, that's what they always do. But this movie, it was definitely a good 9.5 out of 10. Definitely go see it. Dwayne the Rock Johnson delivers. Just a beautiful movie. All right, well, all right, folks. That's my review on Black Adam. Tell me what you believe about it, what you liked about it. Tell me what you didn't like about it. Hey, we might have a conversation going. But until then, Legion. Bye.